Well, Mickey, I don't think there's any other way of putting it other than that was a disappointment this evening. Lancashire started very well and very quickly it felt like we were always playing catch-up in the game. The lads did stick at it, but when you're coming from behind, it's always difficult, isn't it? Yeah,
disappointing. I mean, credit to Neil. That was an outstanding. It's probably one of the best one-day or 2020 pitches I've seen. I think 200 was about par. I don't think we executed well enough with the ball. We needed to get wickets, and that was the only way you could stop the game. It was going to go one of two ways. We were either going to get very close, or we were going to lose a lot of wickets through the middle, trying to get that close. So it was disappointing. I'd rather, take our 8 games in, and the debrief we're going to have now is about our first 8 games. I don't think we've executed our skills consistently enough. We haven't had enough match winners. So it's been I think a disappointing 8 games for us as a team. And we've got to get that right when we come back after the championship games.
Yeah, just on those 8 games, we've spoken a lot in the last couple of years in the red ball game that there have been times where there's been hours within sessions where we've lost games effectively, where we've fallen behind. It's almost felt like in at least 6 of the 8 games, that's almost been condensed to a 3 or 4 over period in each innings where we've fallen behind and been unable to recover.
Yeah, we haven't played the perfect game yet, and that's disappointing because I still think we're a very, very good white ball team. We haven't played the perfect game. When we've got it right with the bat, we haven't got it right with the ball, chasing 190 odd in edge batsmen too many against Leicester, and it took a really good innings for us to get over the line. And that was the first time, though, we've played power well, middle over well, and finished well. So we just haven't strung the perfect game together. And, as coaches, you scratch your head and you look at and debrief and go back and analyse and reflect it's been disappointing for in terms of our lack of consistency in terms of our skill execution.
And I suppose the frustration is that Nye Donald's had 2 fantastic 50s in the last 2 games before this. Caleb Jewell bats through the innings tonight. In normal circumstances, those would be the kind of innings that would put you well ahead in games. Instead, a lot of the time, these innings have then made things manageable, particularly Nye's gets it down to still requiring 8s against Leicestershire, where normally you might be chasing 7.5, 6s at that point in the game.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any coincidence to the games that we've won. We've had an unbelievable opening partnership, and Nye gets us ahead of the game. So he is so massive for us in terms of our white ball cricket, because he does put us ahead of the game considerably. And with that, there's going to be ups and downs, and Nye's played really nicely for us so far this year in terms of getting us ahead of the game when he gets himself in. I look at our bowling as a skill, and I think our bowling it hasn't been consistently good enough, and that's where I probably have my biggest axe to grind.
And the very nature of this period in the season, there isn't a lot of rest. We get back to the red ball game in just 2 days. I think you said to me earlier that by this time tomorrow we will have had a red ball training session and be preparing for the game.
Yep.
It's a change in format. It's a format we've done very well in this season, and it's an opportunity for a few players to come in, a few fresh faces, and maybe just change fortunes a little bit.
Yeah, it's incredible. Through the winter, my primary focus as a coach was getting our skills in red ball to where they needed to be. I think every one of our players in that dressing room is a better player now. And we've worked extremely hard at that. And then you always think, okay, well, the other discipline, the white ball, will take care of itself. And now we find ourselves behind the 8 ball in this one. Yeah, it's cricket. It's hard for a coach. Just when you think you've solved one, you get another problem, and that's where you do your best work, and that's where you become your best coach, because ultimately we creating an environment for the players to perform and become the best they can be. And I know that every player in our dressing room, be that red ball or white ball, is a better player now than they were this time last year. And for the first time since I've been here, we've had quite a big changeover in terms of white ball and red ball. And with the changeover comes a change in dynamic within teams, and you know, we weren't able to kickstart our white ball season with the momentum that we had in the red ball. And you know, I'm hoping that we get on the bus early tomorrow morning, get down to Bristol, we'll focus in, there'll be a big mental shift for the guys that play both formats, and then we've got to get back on the horse again and play good cricket over 4 days down in Bristol, because so far our season in red ball has been outstanding.